So in this video, I'm going to talk about how we met. Now, this is part 2 of my first video, but in this video, I'm going to talk about the first date, and I want to clear up some misconceptions on what really happened on that first date. But I also want to show you the proposal. That's right. I'm actually going to show you how I proposed to Kenady. So stay to the end because you want to see that. But before we do, please do me a favor, hit that like button and also subscribe. Now, what happened on our first official date before courtship? I was at a men's event at our church and it ended kind of late, around 9 or 10. And I really wanted to see Kenady that night. So I was talking to one of my guys and I was telling him my master plan, that I had a gift for her. And so he was like, man, just call her. So that's what I did. I picked up the phone, called her, she picked up, and she said, man, I'm hungry right now. And I said, man, okay, we can actually go out and I can give her this gift. And so we was just thinking about different places to go, and McDonald's came up and we was like, nah, we can't meet at McDonald's. So we ended up meeting at Waffle House. And man, when I tell you, I was kind of nervous when I was driving to Waffle House to meet her. And I also was excited because this is one of the first times I saw her in a very, very long time. And so when I get there, she's already there and she gets out the car and I pull out my book, bam, hashtag completely single, and I give it to her. And she was so excited. And she was like, yeah, I always wanted to read your book. And so I knew this was a good gift for her. And she actually gave me a hug. And here's the funny part. Like when she gave me a hug, my mouth was open. And as you have seen my wife, her hair is kind of big and hair got in my mouth. And I was like, ah, and I was pulling out her hair from my mouth, which was very, very odd. But that was like our first kind of romantic hug. And so I was like, are you hungry? And she was like, yeah. And I looked at Waffle House. I was like, let's go eat at Waffle House. And we just sat there and talked. And she actually ordered, I think, a patty melt that day. And I always order my All-Star. I have to get an All-Star every time I go to Waffle House. And so during the date, we was talking about vision and what we like, what we dislike. It was a very light conversation. It was not too deep, but that was it. That was our first date. And I don't know why people don't go to Waffle House on their first date, or Applebee's, or whatever you go to. You don't have to go to Ruth Chris or any other national steak chain for your first date. You just can keep it light. And I actually paid for that date. Me and my wife love to walk with Christian singles and even dating couples as God is writing their love story. Now, if that is you, if you want that partnership, that accountability, or that mentorship of people to speak into your life, clarity, or even direction, in the description below is a link with the application. Fill that application out and we're going to receive it. We want to see if this is a good fit. And if it is a good fit, we will jump on a call with you and see where you are, where you want to go, and develop a roadmap so you can honor God with your relationship. Now let's get into the story of the proposal. Now, around this time of the proposal, it was kind of hard for me because I knew I wanted to propose. However, my father was passing away. One of the things that I might feel a little bit regret of is not telling my dad before he passed away that I was going to propose to Kenady. I remember him sitting on the bed at the hospital and I was about to tell him, but he was not really looking good and he was really looking kind of sick. I didn't know if he had days or even hours, but I ended up not telling him that I was going to propose to Kenady. And a couple days later, he did pass away. So my father was buried on a Saturday and I was going to give myself a whole week before I asked Kenady's father for her hand in marriage. And so I was going to ask him around Friday or Saturday. But that Monday morning, as I was waking up, it was very early, around 6 a.m. in the morning, I felt the Lord say, ask him now. And I was like, no, God, like I'm supposed to ask him on Friday. This is my plan. But I continued to feel the pressure of the Holy Spirit to wake up and call him now. And so I gave myself a couple of minutes. I got ready and got on the road because I was driving rideshare at the time. And I phoned Kenady's father. And I was just telling him, man, like, I really like your daughter. I really believe that she's the one for me. And then I asked him, I had this boldness. I believe that Kenady is my wife. And I was like, Damien, what are you saying? You don't even talk like this. And he was so excited. He was like, man, my spirit bears witness that you are a great guy. Like Kenady can marry anybody, a professional player, or somebody who's very, very rich. However, I believe God is calling you two into marriage, and that you really believe in God and you have a great relationship with Jesus Christ. And I felt good about that. Nevertheless, he said, before you ask my daughter's hand in marriage, you have to sit down with me face to face. And so I was like, man, like me and Kenady actually go out on the weekends. How am I going to spend this with her? And so I believe I did a good job of really shielding that meeting, and me and him sat down that Sunday just to sit over some steaks, eat a little bit, chop it up, just bond as future father-in-law and future son-in-law. So I talked about my future with his daughter and also the vision that I believe that God was calling us into, and he was all for it. So now it was time to plan the proposal. And one of the things that I wanted to do is propose over Thanksgiving. Now, my mom was actually out of town during Thanksgiving, which I believe was going to be a sad moment. And so I called her before to tell her that I was going to propose to Kenady. And I really didn't hear the excitement in her voice. And I don't know why. Maybe she was still sad because of dad, or she wanted to be there. However, I wanted to move forward into this. And so I actually called my cousin and told her that I really wanted to propose to Kenady. So usually during Thanksgiving, we pull names for Christmas, and we usually just have a brown paper bag with everybody's name in the room. So we decided to have two bags, one with "Will you marry me" in it, and the other one with real names. And so right before Kenady pulled her name, we switched the bag and she pulled out "Will you marry me?" However, one of the things that I did not do was notify my aunt. And so when I arrived that day, me and my aunt had a discussion, and it really offended me. And I'm very open about this now because we have reconciled, but I did not share that I was having this plan actually in her house because we was having Thanksgiving in her house. And so one of the things that I always share now is make sure everybody who's involved understands what is going on, and respect and honor people if it's in their house, on their property. You want to make sure that you honor everyone who's a part of the process, especially the proposal. And so without further ado, I want to show you me and Kenady's proposal.
What's up? What's up? Today's a special day. Today is November 22nd, 2018. A lot of people here in America are celebrating Thanksgiving, but today, hashtag completely single. You see how tattered it is? It's been through a lot. Hashtag completely single sweatshirt is coming off. That's right, I'm hanging it up today. Look how it's just been worn so many times. Y'all see me in this thing in every single picture. But today I am hanging it up. Yes, sirree. So it's been, see that? It's up. Hanging up. Because, bam! Y'all see that? Y'all really can't see it with the light. The light is there. A special lady is receiving this today, and she has no idea. Stay tuned.
The kids have their own. Yeah, I got a bag for the kids.
Yeah!
What you were supposed to do it. But she read what name you got? What was your name?
You've been supporting me for the last couple of weeks. It's been rough. I really want to spend the rest of my life learning how to serve you. And just learning how to be the man who can push you into destiny. So Kenady C. Pitts. Will you marry me?
Stop.